Okay, so I got down my basic shapes from the last demo. There's not detailing on them, it's just laying them out where they are on the picture. So now for this demo, I'm going to talk about detailing. So adding and separating each locker and slots and combinations on your lockers, things like that. I still need to add in my windows, so that'll be later. But looking at my picture, you can see these are these like 5 set of lockers here, and we're going to start separating the lockers. It looks like in this picture these are like half-size lockers, so there's a line dividing these lockers, so there's some up top and some on bottom. So what I'm going to do is just create a guideline to just cut those in half, and I'm going to, you can measure it, so exact halfway point, but I'm just going to eyeball it about halfway on my page. That looks about right. And I'm not going to draw a full line. You can if you want, but I'm just on the lockers going to draw a line going through the center of the lockers. So that right there is now the separation of each locker. Then I'm going to go through, and I'm not going to be counting how many locker lines you've drawn exactly. That I'm not worried too much about that, as long as we get the idea, because it is really small back there in the picture to see each, and to make sure there are however many there are on this picture. It's fine. So what I'm going to do is straight up and down, I'm going to start dividing my lockers up. Get this a little closer for you to see. And I think I'll be able to fit maybe 2 or 3 lines in this one. And I have like a really thin lead pencil. Right there. And maybe one more line. Okay, so those are the separation locker lines, and I'm going to continue this on. As it gets closer to the viewer though, the lines spread out a little bit more. So as you come closer, they won't be so close together. Okay, so there are, and I would continue this on all my lockers. The next thing I want to talk about is the locker slots on here. So naturally there is a little vent, I guess you could call it, on top of the lockers. I'm going to add that in, and since they are going this way, they are going to line up with the vanishing point. Now this part might be a little tedious, but I will start with this closer one so that you can see it a little bit easier. And on each locker, you're going to create that top slot. So slot 1, I don't know if you can see it that well on the picture, but slot 2, and then I believe maybe I would do like 3 to 4 slots on there. Slot 4. And I would do this, I can't tell from the picture if they're on bottom 2, but it looks like I can clearly see the top ones, so I just did those slots, and then I would continue obviously doing the slots on each locker for these ones as well. Combinations are going to be the same type of thing, and it does look like they have little slots on the bottom, but you will create a guideline for all the combinations, and the combinations on the top half of lockers looks like it's towards the bottom. So I'm just going to draw a guideline for where the comms are going to be here. And this will be a line that I eventually erase. So I'm drawing it super light. So that's the line for the, oops, I forgot that one. But that's the line for the locker comms. And I'm just going to do a little circle since this is so small. So that's where you turn to get your comm. So small detail like that. I notice on this bulletin board there is a frame, so I can use my 1-point perspective, again lining it up with the vanishing point and creating a little frame around this bulletin board with papers on it, then I can start adding those papers onto the bulletin board as I finish this frame. Okay. So nice little frame there. Maybe add some papers. These are technically going to be in 1-point perspective. So if I have a piece of paper here, the top and bottom of the paper, technically going to be in 1-point perspective. So just like this. So there's one little paper, very tedious. All the details add up, and then I'll add a few more on there. Lastly, I mean, you can gather all these tiny details for yourself, but I'm going to start laying down my doors here. There, through the glass, there's some detailing. I wouldn't worry about that. It might be confusing even, so just worry about the door frame and laying that out. And what might be helpful is measuring the door frame, so either centimeters or inches, how we've been doing. Kind of figure out, mine is exactly, oh no, not exactly, but it's about an inch. I might take that into account, maybe measure it with centimeters, and then transfer it onto this back wall here. Okay, so add detailings. You don't have to worry about shading right now, it's up to you. I would wait till all your guidelines are erased to start shading.